Our next speaker, finding a good balance between professional and personal life is always a challenge, but a particularly challenging opportunity for this young woman who is trying to juggle her responsibilities as a wife and a mother while being successful in our profession. The struggle can be sometimes simply overwhelming. Not only did our next speaker qualify for MDRT membership in 2004 after only 3 years as an advisor, she was also selected to speak at the 2005 annual meeting. Here to share with you today the principles that helped her achieve her success from Mumbai, India, please welcome 7-year MDRT member Merlyn Fernandes.
Rajia, Wanshang, how? Okay, I'm right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my country, India. If you've been to India, you will be enchanted by the divinity of the majestic mountains, the diversified culture of the 400 languages that we speak, the kindness and the smiles of the people that makes them richer than gold, and the warmth and the hospitality of the Indian people, which will leave a deep impression on your heart. I'm often reminded of a true and moving story of a young American professor who had been to Mumbai, the financial capital of India. Mumbai is also my hometown and the city that never sleeps. Unfortunately for him, it was the day of 26th of July 2005, the floods in the city. Soon his taxi was stuck in traffic and the water level started rising. Seeing his gloomy situation, an Indian family passing by offered to help him. They not only gave him food and shelter, but also offered their bed to sleep on while they slept on the floor. The young professor was so moved by the hospitality shown to him, a stranger who not only came from a different country, but also a different culture. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my country, India. In India, we greet each other with the humble gesture of the Namaste. The Namaste means bowing down to the divinity in the other person. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your palms together and let us humble ourselves and greet each other with this gesture of the Namaste. 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 Please turn to your left and your right. Thank you very much. The insurance industry has changed the meaning of success for me. To some people, success means recognition, power, money, fame. Along with all this, I learned that success means learning from your failures. It's a transformation from good to great. It's a journey of moving from self to others. Insurance taught me to be a better human being. Before I share with you my fundamentals of success, let me tell you a short story. There once lived a wise old man named Kalu Kaka in one of the villages of India. Kaka means uncle in India. Sometimes I wonder why only wise men are old. Anyway, he was known for his wisdom, his witty answers, and his unique solutions for every situation in life. There was another man named Nandu who was extremely jealous of Kalu Kaka's popularity. One day, Nandu had an idea, and he went rushing to a nearby tree which had a cuckoo's nest. He picked up the baby cuckoo and put it in his pocket and started calling all the villagers from their homes. He said, I have a question for Kalu Kaka which he will never be able to answer. The curious villagers came running from their homes to understand what is the question that Nandu had for Kalu Kaka. He had firmly enclosed the cuckoo inside his fist. Raising his hand, he asked Kalu Kaka a question. Tell me, if this bird in my hand is dead or alive? There was a deep silence, and people waited for Kalu Kaka to answer. Nandu then turned to his audience, like we have this audience in Singapore. Tell me if this bird in my hand is dead or alive. So people, is this bird dead or is it alive? Alive. And some people say dead. Okay. Finally, Kalu Kaka answered. He said, the life of this bird is in your hand. If I say this bird is dead, you will simply release your fist and set it free. If I say this bird is alive, you will tighten your fist and kill the poor bird. Opportunities in our life, in our hands, are just like this bird in our hands. We can release it and rise to success, or we can give reasons and excuses for our failures. I came across this opportunity in December 2001. When I joined this business, my kids were aged 4 and 2, and I'd given up my career to be in the corporate world because I wanted to be a full-time homemaker. It was my dream to have a job with flexible working hours to support the income needs of my family. I decided to write down what I wanted from life. I kept asking myself, what is my purpose in life? Without a purpose, you are like a ship without a sail. A purpose is a strong desire which is cherished with passion, directed by your mind, and nourished with conviction. It will not reveal itself to you unless you seek it. My purpose in life was to have the freedom of time and money while still being able to handle the responsibilities of a wife, a mother, and a career woman. I wasn't sure of my calling until my sales manager, Mr. Jack Pinto, introduced me to this profession. And I'm sure most of you gathered here have been introduced to this profession by someone or the other. Very few people would have actually gone to an insurance company and said, hey, I want to be a life insurance agent. Very often, this profession is sold to us as a very rewarding career or a job. I feel people are confused between the satisfaction from your job and the earnings from your job. The satisfaction is related to how passionate you are about what you do. And if you love what you're doing, you will never ever have to work in your life ever. The other day, my husband and I were discussing career options with my older son, Johan, who is 14 years old today. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Johan. He had a question for us. Which is the profession where I can earn a lot of money and not study too much? I wanted to tell him, be a life insurance agent. But my younger son, Jonathan, he said, ambition should be your goal, not your job. Many years ago, I had chosen my career and my job and my academics according to the job that I was going to do. And after 15 years of working in a 9-to-5 job, I finally discovered myself in the life insurance business. The people who know the reason of their success are more successful than the people who know how to achieve their purpose. So, ladies and gentlemen, have you taken stock of your life? Sit back and think. Did you ever imagine that you would be selling life insurance to thousands of families and doing good to so many people and still earning an income out of it? When you search in the core of your soul, you will find the answers to your calling. Focus on what you want to be and what you want to do, and those values will guide you. Believe in yourself. Most people are not comfortable introducing themselves as a life insurance agent. They just do not take pride in what they do. Sometimes agents come up to me and ask me, how do you take an appointment? How do you convince people? I ask them, are you convinced about what you do? Do you really believe that what you're going to do today is going to change the life of the person for the better? Imagine if you had only 60 seconds to introduce yourself. How you introduce yourself depends on your self-belief and your conviction in what you do. If you don't like what you're doing, you will never be able to be happy. It will show in your voice and in your body language. When I call on my prospects, I just say, "Good afternoon, sir. Am I speaking with Mr. Nanda? Is this the right time to speak with you, sir? My name is Merlyn Fernandes, and I work extensively in the area of helping people achieve their family's financial security, your children's education, and your own personal retirement. I have called today to see if we can find a mutually convenient time to get together to share these ideas with each other. Is Tuesday morning or Wednesday afternoon convenient with you, sir?" If you are in a group of people, I just say, "I'm Merlyn Fernandes, your partner for life. I help balance your family's financial responsibilities with your income." I heard another agent introducing herself as a family welfare consultant. I always maintain a logbook of appreciation. Write down how your clients have benefited because of you. Seeing the difference that you've made in their life will uplift your soul. Sometimes your presence has just helped another person just to open up or to discuss his own financial problems or to just become friends. It's not necessary that every prospect or client you call has to be purchasing a life insurance from you. Treat objections as a stepping stone to success. Don't run away from it. Don't hide from it. I quote from the Bible, "Blessed is the one who perseveres when trials come. Such a person is proven worthy and will win the prize of life." An objection is just an opposition when one person refuses to accept your point of view. It involves our ego state. And that's where the whole problem lies. The objection starts within us. All of us have an ego, right from a child to mature adult. And it's visible when we hear the word no. We have to accept that this is a business of no's and postponements. Like many people, when I initially joined as an agent, I thought of quitting. I finally closed an application after hearing the word 15 times no. Mr. Ben Feldman, an MDRT legend, always said, "The sale begins when the customer says no." In many cases, sometimes the client says no because he hasn't heard enough to say yes. I believe people have the right to ask questions, or they raise questions only when you're discussing a topic of mutual interest. This is a business of delayed gratification, not instant success. When you feel down, just go back to your purpose and your vision. It will help you to stay afloat. I just pick up the phone and call up some of my clients. Their warmth and their kindness just helps me to get back on track. Just remember one thing in life. It's those people out there who need great financial advisors like you. If they didn't listen to you, it's not your loss, it's their loss. You did a job and you did it well, so pat yourself on the back. In fact, you should pat each other on the back and say, "Job well done." Please do it. Thank you. Sometimes clients neither say yes nor no. They just give reasons and excuses for postponing their decision of buying. I tell them, if I give you a solution to this problem that you're facing, would you be able to consider my suggestions? At times, there is no real objection. What the client is trying to tell us is, what's in it for me? Why should I drive past so many agents, so many companies, and so many products and buy from you? How will I benefit if I buy from you? I always maintain a confidential folder and record most of my conversations with my clients because I believe a client has a right to ask questions anytime during the tenure of the policy. Nobody starts a journey without deciding his destination. People like to deal with an agent who's been in this business for a very long time. The longer you are in this business, the more trust and dependency the client will have on you. It's like when a person visits a doctor and the doctor starts treating just one person from your family and eventually starts feeding the whole family. Visualize, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Inspect what you expect. When you develop clarity about your future, you become more productive in your present. Write down your goals and mark those dates on the calendar. Every day you can cancel the day when it's over. I'm sure all of you have got a bank account, yes? Okay. Have you ever seen the bank account of your life? Every morning you are credited with 86,400 seconds. You can use it generously, you can spend it the way you want, you cannot save it, neither can you carry it forward. And yet, the next day morning, you are credited with 86,400 seconds. The law of Newton holds true for us. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, every effort and hard work that you spend in those 86,400 seconds will only guarantee your success. You should align your goals with your emotions. You cannot achieve it without emotions in it. The year 2003 was the pinnacle of success in my career. It was my dream to gift my husband a car. This was one of the incentives which was offered by my organization. My children and I visualized this goal with the help of pictures, and we stuck it all over the office and the house. Achieving that dream and that goal helped me to qualify MDRT the first time in the year 2003, and also enabled me to be the best agent of my company. Thank you. My second dream was to visit the United States of America free of cost to attend the $1 Million Round Table. A senior colleague always told me, dream big dreams, they have a funny way of coming true. Me standing here on this main platform for the Singapore experience is one of those dreams that I dreamt some time ago. And I'm grateful to the person who introduced me to this profession. Sometimes our goals are also attached to tragic situations. The insurance business not only gave me success, but also enabled me to be a financial support towards my father's cancer treatment. It gave me the much needed money and also the time to be with my father during his last days, which no other profession or business in this world would have ever been able to give me. And I'm grateful to this organization, which helped me to qualify MDRT each and every year. Tragedies in life. Thank you. Tragedies in life only make you stronger to achieve your goal. Work on the time value of money. Meet those prospects who will help you get closer to your goal. Don't ignore the smaller ones, because they help to enlarge your database and your contact base. The financial needs of the clients remain the same, except for the addition of zeros to their financial needs. Sometimes we spend a lot of time just convincing one particular client. I feel it's best to leave them with their conviction and move on to the next. Design your meetings, which means follow a process. A process becomes a habit, and a habit becomes a discipline. This includes punctuality, being proactive, and of course, the power of dressing. If you're leaving behind the presentation material for your client, make sure you attach it with a colorful clip or a post-it so that he can identify his papers or your papers among his papers. In fact, you need to observe the kind of stationery the client is using, the photographs on his desk. They speak volumes of how close he is to his family, the places that he's visited, and also his income earning potential, which definitely is different from what is visible to the taxman. Build your self-esteem before walking into the client's office. Remember, the first impression should be the right impression, not the last impression, but a lasting one. Review yourself and understand which are your best months. Sometimes we take a break when we come to such great meetings, and it takes us time to get back to our speed and motion. Review your existing clients. Calculate what is the worth of the client to you? Very often, we are chasing new business and we lose control of the existing clients. These clients go towards competition and they do not give us repeat business. I've realized that we spend 6 times more effort in getting a new prospect to a client rather than spending 5% increased effort on existing clients, which will give you 30% more business. You have to treat client reviews as an opportunity. Client reviews can be done on birthdays, on anniversaries, even when the client has changed his job, his residence, or the birth of a new child, or even if the children have finished their college, the client has enough money to reinvest. Do a need satisfaction instead of just a need analysis. Ravi Kumar, an ex-colleague of mine, was 41 years of age when I called him for a financial review. He told me I have a good agent and he was adequately insured. After a few months, I received a call from a common friend of mine telling me that Ravi Kumar passed away while working out at his gym. The insurance policy that he had was not more than $25,000. Now his wife would have to work again in order to take care of the education needs of the children. I lost a friend who wasn't adequately insured. It is our responsibility to do a proper need analysis and also to satisfy those needs with the right solutions. How do we understand the client's needs? It's by being a good listener. Most people do not listen with an intent to understand. They listen with an intent to reply or give suggestions without being asked for. Very few people practice emphatic listening. Emphatic listening is when you get inside the frame of the other person. As shown in the grid, statistics show that when we listen more and talk less, the output is higher. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. There is a big difference between hearing and listening. When you listen, you understand the client's needs. When you're hearing, you understand your own needs. Help the prospect to reach their goal and not your goal. If you only work for money, you will always be underpaid. Sometimes agents suggest those solutions which help them to earn a higher commission, which may not be according to the client's needs because we are always pursuing our goals. Or sometimes we criticize competition by saying, someone sold you something that should not have been in your basket of investments. It reminds me of a joke. Once at a nursery school, there was a box of apples which were kept on the table. And there was a board written on it, "Don't take more than one, God is watching you." On the other table, there was a box of chocolates kept. And a young boy went up and wrote, "Take as many as you want. God is busy watching the apples." When it comes to our deeds, we think God is watching someone else. Always be closing. Many years ago, the Detroit newspapers carried a feature story of a very huge insurance policy which was bought by Mr. Henry Ford. A close friend of Mr. Ford, who was an insurance agent also, was very upset with him and asked him why had he not purchased the insurance policy from him. Mr. Ford's answer is a lesson to all of us. He said, "You just didn't ask me." Haven't we heard that line before? Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. The first step to your closure is when you are asking for an appointment. When you ask for an appointment, you're placing importance on the client's time as well as your time. Your secretary should be used only to reschedule the appointments. The second close is during the financial interview when you gain the trust of the prospect and the bond of confidentiality is sealed. The third close is when you have identified the required needs of the prospect and he is ready to use your solutions. Do we have a closing attitude? Very often, we feel guilty of asking for the check. Sometimes the prospect is not sure what more is expected from him. So I just ask my prospects for some of the important documents like your date of birth proof or your passport copy, and I just start filling up the application form, telling them that I would like to reconcile the spelling. This gives them the idea that the deal is now getting closed. Closing sales need not be so painful. If you are the right person at the right time, with the right solutions, and of course with the right intentions, then closing the sale is a win-win solution for you and your prospect. The fourth close is delivering the policy and making sure that the policy is not returned in the free look period. If you follow all these 4 processes, I'm sure your client will not only refer you, but also recommend you. Add a personal touch to your profession. You can add a personal touch by building true relationships. A true relationship is a connection between 2 people, which is joyful, uplifting, sincere, and sealed with a bond of trust and faith. I feel refreshed by this definition because during the bomb blast of the serial train bomb blast in Mumbai in the year 2006, I was traveling in the location of the train blasts. My last appointment was at 6:15 p.m. at one of the target destinations where the bomb blast was supposed to happen. Fortunately for me, my client called me up and postponed the appointment. So instead of taking the train home, I left home by bus. I reached home at around 11 p.m. and the cell phones were all jammed. At about 1:30 in the morning, I got calls from my clients asking me, did I reach home safely? Was I all right? I was shocked at the power of this industry, which could turn a stranger into a friend and a client into a family member. It is not what we eat, but what we digest that makes us strong. It's not what we earn, but what we save that makes us rich. It's not what we read, but what we remember that makes us knowledgeable. And it's not what we preach, but what we practice that makes us great financial advisors. All of us are great financial advisors, but sometimes our own finances are in doldrums. We often advise many clients on taking an insurance policy, but have you asked yourself, how adequately insured are you? Sometimes there are agents who do not recommend or do not buy the products of the company that they recommend. How else can we be called a financial doctor when we have not tasted our own medicine? Clients change their loyalties towards agents and service providers who call them for reasons other than business. Birthdays, anniversaries are regular wishes that all service providers do. What exceptional services are you offering the client that will help the client to retain your number and your name? Customer satisfaction is a one-time effort. Customer retention is satisfying that customer all the time. Be an active member of a social group or a charitable organization. Everyone wants to deal with an enthusiastic and a lively person. Share your hobbies with your clients. You will be amazed at how contagious like-minded people are. I create a thread line of business from within my clientele, which means I help one client get connected with the other. For example, if I have a client who is a builder and the other client who is an architect, I get both of them connected to each other so that they can benefit from each other. This is how you can make a difference in your client's life. Go beyond the call of duty. Do something unique that other agents don't do. For the last 9 years, I always network with my clients on medical appointments. Very few agents accompany their clients on medical appointments. And I feel it's a time when you can get them out of their controlled environment. You put them at ease so their medical report will be better. At one such medical appointment, there was a board put up. Smoking helps you to lose weight, one lung at a time. Manage your stress before it manages you. Stress is the body's response to any physical or emotional changes in your life. You have to strike a balance between your family and your profession. And I'm sure none of us can grow alone. All of us have had someone or the other to support us in this business. According to me, a great stress buster is a very supportive husband. My spouse, Kevin, I'm very grateful to God for having given me this gift. He has been with me in good times and in bad. Thank you, Kevin. I love you. They say in the first year of marriage, when the husband comes home tired from work, the wife picks up his slippers and the dog comes barking and wagging his tail to greet his master. But after 10 years of marriage, the dog comes and picks up the slippers and the wife comes barking. I don't have a dog. Okay. A man is noticed by the company he keeps. Surround yourself with people who will pull you and push you and drive you to greater heights. There is a very easy way of de-stressing yourself. Seek help. H-E-L-P. I have engaged myself in a very satisfying hobby of painting and music. We do not stop playing because we are old. We grow old because we stop playing. There is a huge difference between growing older and growing up. If you are 25 years of age and you lie in bed doing nothing productive about your life, eventually after a year you will be 26 years old. Anybody can grow older. That doesn't take any ability or any talent. The idea is to grow up always finding an opportunity in change. Growing older is mandatory. Growing up is optional. People usually do not have regrets for what they have done in life, but for what they haven't done in life. So if you haven't started working on something that you love doing, maybe painting, maybe music, maybe just taking a walk, maybe reading a book, start doing it today. Exercise to be physically fit. It will help you to be more enthusiastic about life. We are in the long-term business and hence we need to be around to benefit from the fruits of our labor. Love yourself because no one else will. And pray every day. The most enlightened people are the ones who are at peace with themselves and with others. Prayer is simply aligning yourself to the will of God and acknowledging your dependence on Him. He answers our prayers in 3 ways. He says yes and gives you what you want. He says no and gives you something better. He says wait and gives you the best. My prayer every day is to ask for knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and humility. Invest in yourself. Be in silence at some times. Give yourself a break on one of the days of the week to recharge your batteries. When it comes to dressing, take a keen interest in investing in a good wardrobe. They say clothes don't make the person, but they definitely make 90% of what you see of him. Unless you look the part, people won't believe what you say is important. Invest in technology and a competent secretary. Learn to work on your business rather than in your business. Today, a lot of agents spend their time in administrative work. We often do not like to delegate because we feel we are good at what we do. You can never climb to the next level until you are free with more time that will give your business more profits. Invest in your relationships. Your success means nothing if you cannot share it with those you love, especially your family, who needs more of your time than your money. I feel you should be physically present for some of the occasions of your children because our children grow up only once. We never get a second chance to watch them grow. Be a cheerful giver. It's up to you to identify what kind of a giver you are. There's a story told about a beggar who asked for alms from Alexander the Great. This man was very poor. The emperor threw him several gold coins. A courtier was astonished at his generosity and commented, "Sir, copper coins would have suited the beggar's needs. Why give him gold?" Alexander responded, "Copper coins would suit a beggar's needs, but gold suits Alexander's giving." Charity should be self-motivating and not out of compulsion, or not with a need to receive something in return. Invest in a good library. The person you become tomorrow has a lot to do with the books you read today. We can never learn enough from our own experience, but from the experience of others. The greatest salesmen in the world, the greatest stories of insurance ever told, are some of the inspiring books which I have read. Always be grateful and thankful. Success is not a narrow path. It's a journey where you travel with the hard work, the motivation and the blessings of the people who have been with you. I would like you to ponder on the following. Be nice to the people on your way up, because you might meet them on the way down. Don't be afraid of going slow. Be afraid of standing still. Passion is what makes you great from good. Love has nothing to do with what you have, but with what you give. Be grateful at all times. Once there was a blind boy who sat on the corner of the street, and he had put up a notice board saying, "I am blind, I need your help." For many days he hardly received any coins in his bowl. One day a man walked up to him, wiped his slate and wrote something on it. From then on, every passerby who read the notice put in a lot of coins in his bowl. The blind boy waited for that man to return, and one day heard his footsteps. He asked him, "Sir, what is it that you have written on my board, which has made my bowl so full of coins?" The man simply said, "Today is a beautiful day, but I cannot see it." Ladies and gentlemen, all of us have gone through challenges to be here. Let us take a moment to thank God for everything that we've had in our life. It can be a good night's sleep, our relationships, the bright morning, for this beautiful city of Singapore, for the government. You will come across a stage in your life when you will question everything that you have done in your life, your work, your family, your success. For this, you need to have the right order in your life. To me, my order in life is God, family, work, and money. This has guaranteed my success. The confusion comes in when this order is reversed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for a patient hearing. I hope you've been able to take something valuable from this session. I'd like to thank MDRT and all the people who have been behind the scenes to help me stand here. Have a wonderful evening and a fruitful year ahead. God bless you. Thank you once again.